Hello, this is author Linda Vettrus-Nichols, your educational efficiency expert and creator of the Pattern Learner System, a variety of individual kits that support your child's innate capacity to learn. I believe that early intervention is key for ensuring that all children reach their full potential in math, reading, handwriting, and spelling. I have an amazing guest to introduce to you, Jennifer Bronsnick. As a wife and working mom of 3, Jennifer knows the perfect recipe for burnout: sleepless nights and putting family needs before your own. She believes that children need what they need most of all is a mother who is full of joy, passion, and wisdom. By taking care of your physical, emotional, and spiritual needs, as well as owning your value, you are giving your children the best chance of a happy and abundant future. Jennifer is the author of Thriving Mama: 10 Secrets for Healing Your Mind, Body, and Spirit After Burnout. Her book includes a complimentary human design reading and energy blueprint. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. That was such a lovely introduction.
I just stole it.
It was perfect.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to talk about healing from burnout. Why is it that you know so much about that, Jennifer?
Yeah. So, of course, my own history of healing from burnout. So, whether that was, after my wedding and, the stress of that, and then having kids, healing from that type of burnout. I think that I've been healing my whole life. And, sometimes we get out of balance. Like, that's how I look at it, so it's not this like, oh my gosh, I'm a bad person because I let myself get burned out. It's like, no, like you were just living your life. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I don't feel good anymore.
I overlived my life.
I overlived. What did I do?
That's what I do.
So that's sort of how, I try to view it. Because I think we have so many shoulds and guilt. Like, we don't need any more of that as moms.
Right.
So just having that grace and compassion for like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to get burned out. We can read the book and we can work you through it.
Yeah, right. Well, and it's always saying that, kind of thinking that step ahead, like with kids, you have to stay that one step ahead, right? Mm-hmm. And it's that way for ourselves too. And, if you've experienced burnout, you have even more skills, tools, at your disposal, because it's like, when I do this, then this is how I'm going to feel. And I do that. I have food sensitivity. So I do that with my food, it's like, okay, I can eat this today, as long as I want to feel like this tomorrow. And it's like, oh no, I got a full schedule. I don't want to feel like that tomorrow. Right? Yeah. So it's not like you can't have this and you can't have that. It's like, when do you want this? And do you want this? And why do you want this? Right?
Yes, totally.
Are you to numb out? Or are you using it to go into a deep sleep and get some rest or whatever, right? Our food is just like medicine.
Yes, definitely.
Use it that way as well. Cool. All right. Well, then let's get going. I'm going to click.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that I love what you said about just that awareness, because I think that is a huge piece, is that there's lots of people that aren't even aware. They don't realize the impact of like, oh, if I have this glass of wine, I'm going to feel this way tomorrow. So that's really that first step, is that like, oh, noticing the impact that certain, behaviors have.
Yeah, my background's in special ed, and so I've really found that a lot of times I'm helping parents even understand that their kids maybe aren't doing well with transitions. And so if they've got a lot of transitions built into their day or their week or whatever, here's what you can expect from your kids. Or if the kids are losing it, it's like, well, what were the transitions that they went through today? And transitions can be something super simple, from just, stopping them and asking them a question or whatever. I worked in a psychiatric day treatment center, and I was initially called up to consult, and I just like spent a day observing, and I sat down with the staff and I said, first of all, we're going to stop talking left brain to all these right brain children. And second of all, when a staff walks into the room, if you walk into a room, be very quiet, because it's just like mommy on the phone, you know, the kids lose it. But the staff could come in to the room and be very quiet and it worked. But if a staff came in and asked a question of another staff or whatever, bam, the kids lost it. And they struggled to keep their brains on and to keep focused. The kids did. So it turned their brain off. It was a transition to have an adult come in and ask a question. It was fascinating. They looked
so interesting.
Yeah. All right. So peace and acceptance. What do you know about peace and acceptance? And what is it that you
it's a journey. You know, it's a forever and will always be my intention. It will always be, this is what I want in my daily life.
Right.
And what I think most of us want, you know, we want to be accepted for who we are. We want to be able to be authentic and be ourselves.
Right.
We, you know, want there to not be drama surrounding our decision to be ourselves and to be authentic, which would be that feeling of peace. And, you know, peace being, you know, peace in your body, peace in your heart, peace in your family. You know, I think it incorporates all of that. Now, of course, like I am a human. I'm a human being and living. And, you know, is this always happening? No, it's not. You know, my home is not always peaceful. I have 3 children. They're all girls. Like there's drama. Just this morning, my daughter couldn't find her helmet. She's 2, you know, she needed her helmet. Like that was it. And that was not peaceful in our house. And so to me, it's not about balance. It's about, it's more of a dance. It's like a fluid movement of being peaceful, not being peaceful, noticing when the peace is left, and then moving back. What can I do to ground into peace? And generally that is, you know, something mindful. So being in the present moment, having compassion for myself, for my 2-year-old who, like, you know, in her brain, like it makes total sense that she would need a helmet right now before school, like, you know, and her costume, which she wears a couple days. Right. But it to her, like in her heart and mind and spirit, like this is what she needed to feel her best self.
Yep.
So we found her helmet.
And
peace was resumed once we all got everybody strapped in the car. Yeah, that's, I think, one of the most peaceful places for me is when all of my kids, they're strapped into a car seat or they're buckled up. They can't touch each other.
Yep.
That is like, that's bliss in my 3-child world. Drive through Starbucks, like,
I don't know how you do it. I babysat a lot, and when there were 3 kids, it was insane. It was a bad combination. It's like if I ever ended up with 3 kids, I swear I'd have a 4th just to get some peace out of the deal. Because somebody's always pickle in the middle. It's just nasty.
Right. Yeah. So we have a lot of play dates. That's that's our strategy, is to bring in other people, you know, bring in different energies, get outside. If they're outside, it's like they become like little angels.
Oh yeah. My kids are so horrible at home. So amazing if we had company over or at school.
Yep.
I call it company behavior. And it's like, oh, how can I get some company behavior out of this? But I really have an issue with the word peace, as far as like it's a mom's job to keep the peace, and it's like I don't believe that. I mean, everybody, you know, pulls their weight on that. It's a mom's job to facilitate that.
Yeah, well, it's her job to keep her own peace. I mean, that's really like, we are only responsible for ourselves. Like we can never make someone else feel a certain way, you know, no matter what we do. You know, we could be quote unquote like the perfect mother or whatever that looks like, but they're going to have their own energy. They're going to have their own waves. They're going to have their own stuff going on that like all we really have control over is ourselves.
Right. And it's designed to work with those energy,
yeah.
How do you say them though? Energy.
Human design. So human design aura types is how I usually speak about them. Aura types, or sometimes I'll use the word like, just open energies, or defined energy, meaning energy you have all the time consistently. And it's always, when we're open, it's not that we don't have the energy. Everybody has the energy of everything in the chart. It's just not consistent. It's flowing. It's flexible. It's depending on who we're with. It's depending on how the planets are moving and what energies are coming in. So it's really, the openness is really the beauty. And I think that's, with the next point being allow others to be who they are. I think the human design chart is a really beautiful way to start that dialogue, because it says like, once I tell people like, oh, they're going to have this issue, or this is going to be a challenge for them. They're like, oh, you mean it's not me? Or you mean it's not, like this is just part of their energy. And it allows you to have so much compassion for the person and take a step back and say, it's not personal. It is not about you. That behavior is not about you. It's really their own story. Yeah.
Thank you for defining open. That made so much more sense to me.
Oh, good.
Good.
Cool.
All right. So allow others to be who they are, and then create space and time. That always helps to keep the peace too, right? Because if mom ain't happy, nobody happy. So create space for you. What other things when you're talking about create space and time do you?
Yeah. So I'm a mom and I'm busy. So sometimes the only time I'm getting to meditate is right before bed. And maybe I'm falling asleep with a meditation. Some meditation teachers would say like, no, you have to be sitting straight up. You have to like have all these rules about, how you do it and where you do it and whatever. And I'm like, screw the rules. Do what works for you in your lifestyle. So anyway, like if you are the laundry woman, let's say that you're in charge of the laundry, not saying that every, woman, I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
Do the laundry mindfully. You're doing it anyway. Make it a meditation. Maybe even, choose, okay, what am I going to visualize that's coming up? I'm going to visualize it going perfectly well. I'm going to, think of how I'm going to feel, or the smells, or the tastes in my mouth, or, kind of just digging into the different senses in an activity that you're already having to do. Wow. So it's not about necessarily creating space. It's about being intentional with your time.
Being present.
And being present, right? Like, so.
Right to your soul. I love
that. Yeah, definitely.
Really lies, right? At the level of your soul.
Yes, no, soul never lies. It will always guide you. If you can listen, you can hear it.
Well, do your meditation so you can.
Yeah.
That's whole sit still stuff is baloney. I don't know if I'll ever get to that place in my life.
Well, I think you're a generator type. So it's very, like, I would recommend if you know your human design, if you're some type of generator, do something like a moving meditation, a walking meditation, something that like your body can be moving. And maybe you need to move your body first and then try to sit and meditate, which is what typically yoga would activate.
Yep, that makes more sense because I'm a dancer, so movement
perfect,
is huge for me.
Yes,
and I love to like sit in color or something like that.
Love it. Yes, I love dot to dots. That's one of my favorites.
What do you love?
Dot to dot, adult dot to dot.
Oh,
so like they're like big pictures, and like the numbers go up to like 500.
Oh my goodness.
But I could sit like before bed if I'm like having a hard time like winding down. But I don't like want to watch TV or read. I'll just do a dot to dot, and it's just.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Takes you back to go. I'm sure Amazon.
I know, right? Okay. Next is gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude, right?
Yes.
It is huge. That whole mindset piece is so huge, and really listening. And again, you get to be fully present or you won't hear yourself. And I do a lot of teaching in like the coaching part of what I do. And it's really the the lack language I work with a lot, and people don't hear themselves say, I don't know, or I have to, or what's another one? I don't know.
I'm not good enough. It's too hard.
Yep. They're just not hearing it. So, and the one I'm working on this year is but, because but negates everything you just got done saying. So using and instead of but, that's kind of like my tipper offer. It's like, hey, you're getting like off track here. You know, you're not paying attention to your words. I myself say but. So good. All right. Any other gratitude?
Yeah. So gratitude, of course, you know, there's the gratitude for the daily things, our hot showers, our, you know, our daily conveniences. Then we could go a little deeper for, you know, things that didn't go well, you know, gratitude for things that sucked, things that happened, you know, sicknesses. I was sick for like 2 weeks and it sucked. But it was also like, it forced me to really, really rest, where if I hadn't been sick, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have given that to myself necessarily for that amount of time. Like, I'm all about resting, but 2 weeks of resting is, that's a lot for me. Even as a projector, you know, since I don't know when enough is enough. So, you know, gratitude for the good and the bad. And gratitude, I think you can also send it out into the future. Like, send out that gratitude. Like, what are you going to be grateful for? Like, sometimes I'll just think about like my kids' weddings.
Oh, that's so cool.
You know, like, I'll just be grateful. Like, oh my God, it was a beautiful day. And just like, just having, you know, those happy memories, I'm just sort of sending the signal to the universe, like, this is, pull this to me, like, you know, let them find their beloveds, you know, let them, you know, experience this, you know, love. I love a wedding. So
I guess.
Yeah. So like that, you know, like even them having children, like my middle daughter, she's, you know, she has in her human design chart, like, she's here to be a mom. Like, that's like her, like, and she's got, you know, dolls all over that she's taking care of, and little kids, you know, flock to her and love her. She just has this, like, I'll take care of you, vibe. So like, I'll imagine her and she wants like 5 kids, and, you know, just like thinking of these positive things for their life.
Yeah.
Because I think we can get so trapped in fear, and, you know, being able to send the gratitude out into the future can sometimes, like, I guess what's coming through is like, break up the fear, like, break it up. So it's like, you can just push it out of the way.
That is so beautiful. I love it. All right. So, truth of who you are. Right? And that's like, take a look at your shadow, you know, and what is it all about? Because we can have these like really positive things that are just, that come easy to us. There's always a shadow to it. What is it? Recognize it, own it, right?
Yeah.
Realize that these are all parts of you, and there's like no guilt, no shame. It is what it is. And like, take it or leave it, like you kind of mentioned earlier in the interview. So so
what's coming through right now is that, you know, so like, yes, there's like the shadow side of it, but I look at it more in terms of like of frequency and energy. So like with anything, with you know, in human design, it uses the I Ching. So and the gene keys, where there's sort of these like 3 levels, like where it can be kind of like a low expression, regular expression, or a high expression of that same energy. And we can have it, but it may look very differently depending on, just like you said earlier, our mindset and how we're viewing a certain situation. And then from that mindset, you know, our actions generally follow. So, you know, just, you know, I think again, it comes back to that awareness of like, just know who you are. You know, I think everybody should have their human design chart. Like, it's just so, so helpful to, you know, see, oh, well, this is going to be something that's going to come up. How can I live out the high expression of this energy, you know, versus the lower expression? Like, how can I raise people up with my voice versus bring people down? And, you know, kind of just always questioning it. And of course, like, we're going to get pulled, like, we're human, like, people are going to trigger us. They're going to activate things from our childhood, from past lives, who knows what is all happening in this realm. You know, but I think it's just like, processing it in your mind, thinking about it before you're speaking. I think words just carry so much power to them.
Yep.
So, before you say something or act in a certain way, take a minute to think about it, follow your human design strategy, whatever that might be. And it can make relationships so much better, more fulfilling.
Yeah. And the whole word thing, it's all about intention. If you're going to allow them to have that impact as well. Yeah. So it's battle.
It is a battle. It's every day. And maybe it's not necessarily a battle, but it kind of is. Like it can
feel that way.
It can feel that way. Right. So, it's just it's a constant self-awareness, which takes up energy. Like, oh, okay, I did that. Like that didn't feel right. Like that felt like it went against my soul in some way. Okay. So how am I going to fix that? Like, how am I going to grow past that? And so that I don't repeat the same pattern over and over again. Yep. Anytime you're seeing, a certain pattern that's showing up, it's a good chance to say, like, okay, what needs to be healed, released, or realigned in order for me to move past this pattern?
Say that again. Those are great words.
What needs to be healed, released, or realigned in order to, fill in the blank, tune into my greatness, activate my self-love, feel more decisive, any of those sort of resiliency pieces.
Yeah.
We just have to, it's a constant, some people just pull us down, and it's not their fault. It's not personal. Like, they're here as our teacher. It's our job to learn from those teachers.
Amen to that one. And then tune into your body. We've kind of alluded to it here.
The aura. Yeah. So definitely the aura, like your energy, like when you walk into a room, your energy is speaking before you do, which is kind of beautiful in a way. Like, you don't have to say anything. I think we talk too much.
Right.
I think one day I'm going to have a meeting where we just don't, for maybe 10 minutes, it's silent, we just energetically, who do we feel pulled to? Like, whose energy is calling us? I don't know. I think it'd just be really fun. And so with that, tuning into your body, what's happening in your body? Do you notice, tension anywhere that needs to be relaxed or released? Are there any physical symptoms that you're experiencing that could be a result of not living or speaking your truth? Are you having stomach issues or heart issues because you're pushing too hard to make things happen? Because that's what we've been, taught to do, where it's okay just to, allow it to happen in its divine timing and not feel like you are the, catalyst for all that, is in the world. But I think it's a little voice, it's a little voice of your body. So you have to ask it, what do you need today? What's going on for you today?
Yeah, I love that part.
Okay, so find your own joy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't make anybody else happy. You know, that's their job. You know, you can ask questions and facilitate and get, them along their journey. So, yep, it's about you. And that just as a mom, we're not trained to focus on us. This baby is our responsibility, and
right.
we're super focused on them. And we don't delegate, and we don't get the help as a general rule as women, because we do have this amazing nurture, and it feels so good to nurture some little something in your arms, right?
It does. Yeah, for the most part.
Not when they're screaming their heads off.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're triggered into responsibility and almost panic of, oh, what is wrong? And oh, what can I do? And oh, must be my fault, or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
No, this is its own human over here, and you're over here. And that's what I did with my son. I literally didn't cut the umbilical cord emotionally. And I made a deliberate mental ceremony to actually do that.
Interesting.
When I thought that. Yeah. It might have had something to do with his birth. I thought I was looking up in the mirror. Then I realized I was in the mirror looking down.
And then I was like, I should go back. That's one of the lies.
Wow.
Go back. I think that baby needs me. And then I went back, and then I don't know, like 2 weeks later, my former husband said, at the time the husband said, well, you died on the table. You didn't know that? And I'm like, what? And
oh my God.
The heart stopped and they had to revive you. I'm like,
that is terrifying.
For him, not for
yeah.
me.
Right.
I was totally in control, and just, I didn't see anything like major going on, but
right.
I thought I was looking in the mirror, and then I was like, I am in the mirror.
Wow.
And then I just made the decision to go back. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, so joy, it's joy. It's different than happiness because of something. So joy to me is like, I could be walking in the garage and I just feel joy. Like I feel joy in my heart. Like there's nothing like I didn't win $1 million. There's nothing like, wonderful happening. Like, but I just feel joy in my heart. And I feel that like, when I'm doing these, like when I'm talking to people or I'm teaching about something, when I'm in certain places, I guess, like, maybe I'm more relaxed or the energy's right with other people, to allow that joy to, just kind of flow in. And it's not about like grasping and chasing after joy. Like, I'm just going to find joy. It's really just allowing it and noticing, when it's there. Like I find joy when I'm driving my kids around, that's great.
Right.
I like get all the good downloads because I'm relaxed.
Oh, yeah, right.
Finding joy, I think where you live in your community, if you're not happy where you live, especially if you have an open G center in your human design chart, that's a really, really important thing to look at, because, it has a huge impact on our life, the community that we're in. And where we live specifically.
Yeah.
Thinking about your job, what are you doing to either guide others, to build our planet, to initiate getting the ball rolling, having something that you feel inspired, and not that you're going to feel joyful and all the time in any sort of anything really, but that it's somewhat there. Like it shows up every once in a while. And then of course, community, having your friends, having people that, get you and, people that you can say, okay, I'm having a hard time. Do you have any ideas? Or just listen to me.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. And business besties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's so, I mean, like as an entrepreneur, it's so important, because otherwise you just get really lonely.
Yeah, your friends don't usually get it. Family,
no,
super doesn't get it, and so you have that person that's right there in the struggle with you, and then those ones that are more mentors to you. They're ahead of you, but they can still hear you and like, what? Here's what I did that might work. Whatever, just someone to listen and someone to process with is so huge.
Yeah.
Can we go back to G Center? If you had to open G Center, what is?
Yeah. So G Center is the center in the chart. It's the fourth one from the top. It's like in the center, like where like the heart center would be. It's the seat of the soul. Sometimes it's called the magnetic monopole because it's believed that like we're a magnet, like there's a magnetic energy coming from us, like similar to the earth has the same magnet. So, that's really all about direction. It's about self-love. And when the energy is open, it just means that we're very sensitive to place and time. And the energies and soul energy of other people. So like oftentimes people with an open G would, be able to fit in with like two very extreme different types of people. Like, a group of attorneys, they could like fit in and sort of feel it out, like, or they could be in the biker gang and also fit in. so they have a very flexible identity. It doesn't mean that they don't have their own identity. It just means they're not here to know themselves. They're here to know others and to know others on that deep soul level, which is kind of beautiful, really, like if you understand it. If you don't understand it, I think it can be a little confusing.
Right. Yeah, that's me. I have an open G center.
Open G, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, it is pulling in other people's energy or allowing other people's energy, and it's being more mindful to have like my bubble, or whatever, and be in somewhat of a container so that my own energy only goes out so far, so I can hang on to my energy. And I used to do coaching events with my husband. He would cover us with pink light, and I just didn't do it. He just did it. And then I went to an event without him. I was so sick.
Oh no.
Super, super sick. Yeah. So it makes a huge difference. I get it.
Yeah. Well, and also, you can, at the end of the day, like maybe part of your meditation, and this is for anybody really, it's just, you can call back any of the energy you left out in the world and then release any of the energy that you picked up.
Yeah, I love that.
Just sort of, like you're just, the intention is all you need. Like there's no, magic. It's just, please send it back with love to who the owner is.
Bye-bye.
And bringing everything back. It's like you leave little pieces of your energetic debris.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like I'm listening to like 20-year-olds and I just broke up and it was my first love and I'm so crushed or whatever. It's just like, same idea,
Yes.
What's yours back and give what's theirs back to them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough one.
Well, you can do.
Yeah.
It is a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, because I think you do take in, especially in those like romantic relationships or, with your kids, like you take them in.
Yes.
So it's,
Absolutely. This is so cool. And you have an amazing free gift for everybody. It's a burnout quiz. And
yes.
So when you get there, it says, is motherhood causing you a little stress, right? And just know stress is a part of life.
It is.
Burnout is not. I love that line, Jennifer.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about it.
It's a simple quiz, and it just goes through a couple different, like 10 different questions to, gauge where you're at in your level of burnout, and some people, they make all healthy choices. But even people who I find that aren't burned out, they always mark something off, that something's not, going well in some area. But it's just like, I think it's just good to have an awareness of like, let's just check in, see where I'm at this year, this month, or whatever it is. Like, am I, has anything changed? Like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I used to want to go out and now I don't. So then it's sort of like, like maybe I need to look at that. And then once you take the quiz, depending on what your, answers come out to be, then you can get your free human design chart and all of that information as well.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
So there's a link, and it's also, in your email. So
perfect.
Have at it, everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Really appreciate the interview.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.